I'm not using a 25-1.2. I'm using my 12-40. So, All right, cool. All right, well, let me get started on this thing here. Give me 1 second. All right, so hopefully everybody can see the screen here. Again, as I said before at the beginning, I just wanted to thank everyone for tuning in. And hey, Carlos, if you see somebody pop up on the
I got you, man.
Yeah, just because I can't see the screen with I got the keynote.
I know. I'm on the same spot when I'm presenting. Yeah. I get you.
Yeah, exactly. So I want to thank you all for coming in. I appreciate it, and I hope you guys will enjoy the presentation, as it were. Again, as I mentioned before, we're here at Johnson Photo Imaging. Basically, they provide a new meeting place and administration assistance, of course. And if you'd like to find out more about Johnson's, you can go to their YouTube channel, Instagram, and Facebook. I am recording this session, so I will be posting the video either on Facebook or on the YouTube page. After we process the video, we'll put it up there so you guys can kind of review it later on if you want to as well. So just keep that in mind as far as that goes. Of course, everybody, hopefully if you heard about this, is through the newsletter, and we also have other classes coming on. I'm currently writing other online courses as we go through this pandemic, but we're still trying to do the various photo groups online as much as we can, as often as we can, as far as that goes. So these are the things that I like to do. Marsha was talking about doing the Milky Way. This is what I love doing myself. When Milky Way season starts up again back in late February, early March, I'll be doing more excursions throughout there. I'll be going back out to Big Cypress. I'll be going out to Steinhatchee and a few other places around the state of Florida. That was real exciting that I got to do. And we'll talk more about that when I get to the my photos from Cape San Blas. You want to find out more about me, what I like to do, of course, you can go to @Photodono or w.photodono.com, and I'll be glad to go over any of that stuff there with you on there as well, too. And I get to wear the lofty title because that's what the hat's for. I'm the Director of Photo Education here at Johnson Photo Imaging. Every time I look down, I can see Rob's face on my screen, so he's always smiling at me, so I always feel like I'm doing a good job.
You are. You are.
Thanks, Rob. And you can always reach me at the store Monday through Friday from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. Of course, at the store number of 941-896-9921. All right, else. Of course, email me too at dono@jpiphoto.com. What's in my bag? For those of you who don't know who I am, because I know Steve and Faith were running the group for quite a bit, we got, just to let you know, I have an OMD EM1 Mark II. I've got 12-40, a 7-14, a 40-150. I use UHS-2 ProMaster cards, and I actually just got two. I now have two cameras now, so I'm very happy about that. I've gone from a 40-pound bag of one camera and a bunch of lenses to a 25-pound bag with two cameras and three lenses. So I'm very, very happy about that. My back thanks you, Olympus. Thank you. I also moderate the low light group, and I also moderate the meetup group as well too. And that's something I do on my own. So if you guys want to follow along with that too, you're more than welcome to do that. I try to post on Johnson's Photos classes because I do a lot of that stuff there on the low light group and also on the meetup group. The meetup group is Bradenton Photo Group, and then the other one's the low light photo group. So if you happen to go on meetup, just look for those things right there. Now this is the cool thing too. Yannick, I'm sorry, I was practicing a name, but now I've butchered it. I'm going to say Yannick. Yannick's going to be here, and he's going to be doing his bird photography tips and tricks here, and not here at the store, but online on October 8th. So if you guys are interested in checking that out, as I said, we're getting bombarded by a lot of international people trying to join in. So I keep upping the number of tickets in there. Like this particular group meeting, I had over 60 people signing in, but I sent that letter out reminding people where we're located, what time zone we're supposed to be in, basically. And a bunch of them kind of dropped out there. So we'll see how that goes. But if you guys are interested, if you like bird photography, this is a great thing to check out, especially if you're really interested about doing the settings for autofocus, tracking, and all that other fun stuff right there, especially with Pro Capture. Oh, my God. And there's nothing coming up. Me and Carlos are going to be doing another thing later on in the month, too. So make sure you save the date. It's going to be around the same time. And we're going to try to keep the ball rolling, as it were, throughout the month as much as we can. Every month. let's go. Before we go, we're going to talk a little about some of the firmware stuff. If you guys are interested, we already started talking about some of that about the beta. I'm just going to talk about some of the things, especially if you're looking to get that new 100 400 5063 IS. That is an amazing piece of glass. I've played around with it a few times, and I've really enjoyed working with it. It's amazingly lightweight, considering you got a 100 400 200 to 800 millimeter lens. It's sharp as a tack, and it works out really well. But some of you might have to get the newest firmware update in order to use that lens in your system. So make sure you go to do the firmware update. If you haven't done the firmware update before, go to the setup menu. And once you do that, you can check the firmware of your camera, see if it's up to date. This one is not. So then I basically have to use the Olympus workspace to update the firmware. Just make sure your camera's on USB storage for that, and that you can find that under the setup menu on D4. And once you do that, then you can basically plug the camera into the computer and go that. Oh yeah, make sure the battery's a fresh battery. Don't do it on like.
Yeah, very important. You need a fresh battery. You don't want to be caught up in the middle of an installment and suddenly your
Yeah, exactly.
camera shuts down.
So be mindful of that.
Otherwise, if that happens, you gotta send the camera in. There's no way to get it back to life that way. So
yeah, exactly.
Heads up.
Yeah, just make sure you put a fresh battery in there. Don't do what I do with 36%. And it's said from the firmware, but I haven't really seen any difference. It said not to leave the card in there, so I took my card out. So that's what I did with mine. So I took the battery, make sure the battery's charged up, no card. And then, of course, just be extremely careful. Follow the instructions on the Olympus website for doing that stuff. This is basically their warnings on it. It takes up to 10 minutes. I can attest. I did have to update both cameras. It took me about 20 minutes to update both. And I did have to do a lens update on top of all that stuff, too. So just make sure you do all that little fun stuff as well, too. Now, if you haven't installed the Olympus workspace, I would say go ahead and do that as well. But if you guys have any trouble with the firmware updates, keep in mind, we can do it here at the store for you as well. So you're more than welcome to come in. If you feel uncomfortable doing it, all we ask is you bring us the fresh batteries to make sure you got one. 9 out of 10 times we probably have a battery sitting around that we could use, but if we don't, then it's always good to have one that we can start off with as well. Well, of course, Olympus technical support is there, but of course, with COVID, there are some limitations going on. So just be helpful and be mindful with that as we go through all that stuff. But as I said, we do it here Monday through Friday from 10 to 5. Just give us a call. We can do it while you wait. As I said, it takes about 10 minutes. If you haven't seen the website on how to do it, it's pretty straightforward. They give you some pretty good indicators. Pretty much what you saw on the screen is pretty much what I did here. It's really not that hard to do. If I could do it, anybody can do it. I'm not the brightest bulb on the planet when it comes to this stuff. So.
Yeah, and depending on the camera that you might have, you can store your settings so you don't have to reprogram it later. So that's very helpful for, when you're doing the firmware update, because normally when you do it, the camera's going to be reset anyway. So that way you can just save those settings on your computer, have them as a backup. And then when you put the new firmware update, you can install them back again on it. And your computer would be just like, your camera will be just like, the way you had it before, but with the new update.
Yeah. I did this on I sped this up about 20 times, so it's going pretty quick. But basically, you can even find the details of what the difference on the update is. They'll give you all the versions of all the changes if you really want to see it. If not, just go ahead and just do the update at that particular point.
Can you skip a version, like going to 1.2 on the 5 versus the 1.1?
Not that I'm aware of. You only get the one update, right, Carlos?
Yeah, if you have the 1.1 and let's say the latest it's 1.5, you're gonna get the latest. Yeah. So on that same install, you're gonna have pretty much everything happening at once.
So you can go straight to the most current.
Right.
version.
So you don't have to. Yeah, you don't have to.
No.
You can leapfrog to the latest update.
Yeah, it's not a step-by-step kind of progress to get there. So if you have the even an older version, you will be updated right away.
Yeah. Now the screen will do this while it's updating. Just be mindful of that. You want to wait till it says okie dokie. Once it says okie dokie, then you're good to go. And then you can follow the instructions where you can the updates were completed, then you can turn the camera off and on again. Once
And
that's
unplug.
all done, and then you'll be ready to go. Then now on my camera, it did save the settings, and then it reloaded my settings back into it after as well. See, it's reloading my latest settings in my sets. Anything that I've already preset in there, it loaded it back up in there. So yeah, that's pretty much it. Any other
Yeah, the
questions?
cool thing is that those settings you can share with anybody as well. So let's say that you have a friend that has the same camera, and maybe he's always asking you about, hey, what do you got programmed here and there, and that's what you're using. So you can just save those and send them to them, and they can install them through the workspace program as well. So it's another cool thing, that you can share your settings, and for example, on the EM1X or EM1 Mark III, where you can program your own focusing point, it's super cool as well, depending on the type of photography that you're doing. So those are kind of things that are kind of hot. So you can just share it and just give those settings away to other people. So pretty cool.
And I know some people just joined in. We also talked about a little bit about the beta update. So a lot of us are, of course, jumping into webcams or doing these Zoom events or whatever. And they have a beta update. So the EM5 Mark III, the EM1 Mark II, 3, the EM1X as well, I think, right, Carlos?
Yeah, EM1X.
There's all those that you can check out as well, too. And as we were saying, it's very straightforward. Just Google for the keywords beta update for Olympus, and they'll take you right there. It's pretty straightforward. All right. So any other questions about the firmware update on that? Like you said, until you do it the first time, you'll probably feel a little nervous when you do it. But they really does walk you through it. It's pretty straightforward. So I would say you guys will be all right. But again, we can always do the update here. And we don't charge to do that. It's a courtesy as far as that goes. All right, Carlos. I was going to turn it over to you now, if that was okay, and let you go with your particular thing.
All right. So,
do you need?
I got it?
You should. I hope. Let's see. Sharon had a quick question though about do you need the beta update if you're not using the video? No, you don't need it. It's just for the video stuff. I'm putting in the link for Yannick as well in the chat. So if you guys are interested, I just put it in there.
Yeah, I share the link as well. You know what? Let me just close this part here because I can. There we go. Otherwise, I'm not able to see anything. All right. So OMD M10 Mark IV, this is our newest, lightest OMD camera in the lineup right now. It's the newest addition to the family. It's the lightest camera that we have designed so far. It's very, very lightweight compared to any of the other previous OMD versions of this camera. So as you're gonna be able to see, it's a pretty practical camera you can carry with you for any kind of activity pretty much, and bring it with you. So we're gonna go through the new features of this camera and just show you what it's all about. So we're gonna go through image quality, easy shooting and sharing, portability as well. So we're gonna cover most of these new features here as well. So one of the new things is gonna be the IS system. The new IS has been upgraded. So from 4 stops, it went all the way up to 4.5 point of stop of shutter speed compensation when you're hand holding. So this is great for low light situations, or when you're shooting with a longer lens. It will compensate even better under those circumstances as well. So remember that it's going to be compensating for any of the pitch, UR roll, horizontal and vertical shift movement of the camera, since all these cameras, they do video, so that axis can rotate and compensate for any of that vibration or movement that you're doing, or even having a smoother video when you're walking as well. So absolutely does a great job. If you guys have any of the other previous models or have any of the OMD's cameras, you guys know how that IS system works. So it's been updated there. And here you, whoops, I slided my video, sorry. So that's a comparison video between a full frame camera and the EM10-4. As you can see, it's super jumpy. They're on a boat, so it's just like pretty fluid the way it looks on the Olympus versus full frame mirrorless. The other thing is that if you know any of the full frame mirrorless, that they have the IS built around the sensor, it's a bigger sensor, so you have to move a little bit more parts. It's going to be heavier as well, so some of the movement might be a little bit more jumpy as ours. So that's one of the cool things about the format as well. Another thing that was improved was the continuous out of focus algorithm on this camera as well. It has and uses the same algorithm that the EM1X, our top of the line pro camera, uses. So if you're, you know, looking for action shots or looking for, you know, try to keep up with that subject that might be moving towards to camera, away from camera, sideways, you know, now with the new continuous autofocus, it's just gonna make your life easier. Just remember that this camera compared to the other, for example, EM1s don't have the double autofocus system, just have the contrast detection. Also, the face recognition and eye recognition has been improved as well, like the EM1 Mark III. So in this kind of situation, let's say that you're doing portraits or you're doing a video, and you can follow your subject, whether it might be like super close to the camera or far away from it, and still gonna be able to capture and focus in the eyes, which is pretty much the most important part when you're capturing a picture, because we wanna see that the eyes are in focus. So that's gonna be super, super important here, and you know, works pretty well. Doesn't matter if the person is, you know, further away from camera and the head's super small, or it's in a profile position, the camera's gonna be able to keep up with it. And now we have the new megapixel. It's the 20 megapixel sensor compared to the previous model, the EM10 Mark III, which was 16, and has the True-8 as well processing engine as well on this camera for fast processing. 4K video would be also available here with a 30 frames per second option as well. And then you can have, bring it down to any of the other full HD or 720, depending on the compression or frame rate that you desire. Definitely those options are also available. Another thing that we added on this camera was this sweep panorama under the scene modes. So it's just going to make it a little bit more easier to make those panorama for anyone that, you know, enjoys taking panorama images. Before it was just a frame by frame kind of thing, but now you just have to, you know, swipe your camera pretty slowly, and you should be able to capture your panorama without any problems. And you can always tweak them later on through the Olympus workspace program as well. And here under the scene modes or the advanced photo mode, you can come here and look for any of the big features that we offer on the whole OMD line, like live composite, lifetime, multiple exposure, HDR, silent mode, the panorama. You're gonna be able to find that also as well here. The digital shift, that it's like the keystoning, auto exposure bracketing, and autofocus bracketing as well. So the camera definitely packs a lot of different features that are superb to an entry-level camera. Also now we added a new instant film art filter as well. So this new instant film filter, you can also fine tune it with the new features that we added on how you can apply filters to your image and try to make them look kind of cool from camera. You don't have to, you know, use software or anything else to add these filters. You can just do them after take them. If you're, for example, shooting raw, this will only apply to the JPEG options only. So to any of the JPEG compression that you select with your raw, I mean, that's going to be applied to the JPEG, not to the raw. Just to let you guys know about that.
Don't you get that?
Also, when you come here, the new slider option here, you can fine tune the effect that you're applying to the filter. So, you know, you can bring it up the saturation, bring it down, for example, for pop art, or the self-focus, like how much out of focus you want to do it, or how much in focus you can. So it just makes it a little bit more easier to have more control on those effects that you're applying to your image. And now also this camera also has the tilt and flip LCD, so it goes all the way down, so flip down monitor. So you can do selfies and you're gonna have full control on the LCD. As you can see there, you're gonna have new different controls. But the back of the camera also is designed for a comfortable grip. So when you're holding it, as you can see, there's gonna be a grip on the side. So your other fingers can rest there and hold the camera securely and feel secure. So the dedicated selfie mode, it's pretty simple operation kind of thing. So you're gonna have all these controls on the LCD and you bring it down completely. So as you can see, you're gonna have the e-portrait mode there. So you can touch that and engage the e-portrait function there, which is pretty cool. Looks everybody like $1,000,000 because it takes all the wrinkles out, softens the skin, you know, makes you look younger. In my case, it will add some hair as well, but you know, just joking. But you can also engage, for example, the custom self-timer option here. This custom self-timer will allow you to, you know, create your own amount of frames that you want to shoot instead of just pressing the shutter constantly. So the camera will take certain amount of pictures with different interval times in between, with up to 3 different seconds in between shots. So, you know, that way you can, you know, readjust yourself, repose and recompose your shot and keep going in between. You have the playback option there. Your shutter button is going to be there, and also your video will be there as well. So if you want to do a small clip and you talking or describing something, it's another cool way to do it just through the screen as well. And now also as well, this new OMD M10-4, it's compatible with the Bluetooth as well, which will allow you to keep, you know, on the go, or when you're, you know, traveling, or just having your camera in your backpack, and let's say you're done shooting and now you can, you know, start transferring images to your phone. And, you know, since it's connected through Bluetooth, it just keeps a faster and more reliable connection with your phone all the time. Also, the Olympus Imager App got also an upgrade as well. For those who love to shoot, you know, low light or at night, or play with light at night like Dom, definitely the app is a great option here. So the new app not only will connect through the Bluetooth option, but it has a night mode display as well. So if you're, you know, photographing something that might be super sensitive to light, the light of your phone is not going to affect your exposure. So, you know, it's going to go into a red dim option. That way, you know, nothing will be affected. So here under the settings, you can come and engage this option. So settings, remote control, and then go remote shutter, night display, and just make sure that you have that on in order to use it at night. So there you go. That's another cool feature for those people that love to shoot in low light situations or at night. Also as well, sorry guys, you can come here to the advanced photo media mode, and see for any of the videos or tutorials that we have available through the app as well. So you don't need to, you know, go to YouTube or anything like that. Through the app, you're going to be able to get, you know, some tips and tricks on certain functions, on refreshers as well, on certain functions as well. So you can come here any given time and check, you know, anything that you might not sure of how it works. You can come here and check it out. So here are pretty much the dimensions of the camera. So as you can see, compared to the pretty much previous model was way more lighter than I mean, it was more a little bit heavier than this one. The other one was 430 34 grams here. So this is a 300, so 383. So it's still like super lightweight. It's the lightest OMD ever made. So not bad. The design also on the grip of this camera was completely redesigned. The thumb rest on the back, it's more pronounced. That way you have better control and handheld of the camera, so the ergonomics are going to go way better. The grip on the front of the camera as well, it's better and more pronounced as well, so it will allow you for better grip. And another great feature is that I love this, because I am one of those persons that I hate bringing my chargers with me sometimes, and this makes it so simple. Just travel with you know, a USB you know, a charger with you. Just bring the cable or your portable charger, and that's it. That's all you need. So less things that you have to, you know, remind yourself to bring or leave at the hotel on your vacation, or, you know, that kind of stuff that we always leave at some point when we're traveling. That happens constantly. Cables, I have left so many cables and chargers in different hotels. It's like crazy, but you know what, it happens. So I think this is a very easy way to charge your batteries and have a little bit more peace of mind sometimes, you know, and still like don't bring so much when you go out and shoot. So the cool thing is that with this system, even though that it might be an entry-level camera, you still have the possibilities to use any of the pro lenses that we design as well. So that's the beauty of the system, that doesn't matter what camera you got, everything's going to be compatible. That's a system that will allow you to keep growing and keep getting better in photography as well. So some of the lenses suggested here for this camera would be the 14-42 EZ or the regular 14-42. The LC37C is just a lens cap that goes on the 14-42 EZ one, the electronic one. So as soon as you put that on, every time you turn the camera, there's no need to have a lens cap on it, because automatically it's just going to be open. So you turn the camera off, that lens go back, and it will shut down right away. So pretty cool. That's a pretty nice zoom range for everyday kind of use. Then we're gonna have the 40-150 that basically picks up where that lens left over, the 14-42, and then we're gonna have the 14-150 that it's pretty much an all-in-one kind of lens. This lens is also a weather seal, but I guess you need a weather sealed body in order to have a weather sealed system there. Other lenses suggested is the 25mm 1.8 or the 45 1.8 as well. These are great traveling lenses and great for getting that nice bokeh on the back and, you know, separating your subject from your backgrounds as well. Awesome for portraits, you know, travel shots. 50s are 25mm are always fun. That's the lens that I'm using right now, but the 1.2 version of that one. The 30mm as well, or the 9-18 for wide angle. Those are super compact lenses. You can just have those in your pocket and just, you know, carry the camera and walk around with the camera and also in another pocket, no problem. So it's super compact and easy to use. Other extras here, the touchscreen, when you're using the auto mode, you're going to be able also to engage the e-portrait option. So that processing that will do to the face, you can also do it while you're using the e-portrait option here under the auto mode. Also, the live view boost onto now was also added to the menu. So you can come here and, you know, apply, or, you know, if you like to see your settings changing on the LCD or viewfinder, you can come here and change them. Before the EM10 didn't have any of the live view options. So that's a pretty cool one as well. Multiple exposure, it's now going to be available under the PASM mode. So you can do up to 2 different frames and, you know, put them together in a one single picture, just like film back in the day. Instead of like advancing your image to the next frame, it's just holding it. So you can, see like a ghosty image of that first frame, and then, compose it and take another one. Or you can just do it with a second image and overlay it on top, even if you take an image before or after that first one. So it's a pretty cool option. Another thing is that the electronic viewfinder is going to be 100% field of view. So what you see is what you get. That's cool because you're not cropping anything, and there's nothing worse than seeing something and then we're obtaining something different. Not in this case here. Also, the dials are pretty simple. You're gonna have the 2 dials, so no need of touching other buttons to change functions of dials. Everything's pretty simple. Your digital teleconverter button is going to be there. Your movie video button there as well. And on the thumb rest on the back, there's also going to have the auto exposure lock and autofocus lock as well. So for those of you who like the back button focus, that comes pretty handy there. Also the arrow pads, it's already pre-programmed with some features. For example, you're going to have your ISO, so you can just go up and change anything right away. You're going to have your autofocus to the left. To the bottom part, you're going to have your shooting mode, so single frame, custom self timer, or sequential shooting. You're going to be able to access there. And if you go to the right, you will be accessing any of the flash options. So you can engage the red eye for the flash, or use the slow sync flash as well for fun photography as well. So there's definitely easy options here in order to get to that function that you want. So that was everything for me. If you guys have any questions or anything, please let me know. Throw it to the chat or talk out loud there.
All right, I'm going to get set up for the art filter I'm going to do next.
So I'll ask a question while he gets set up, if I may. You showed on the iPhone and probably Android app that you can do it for night vision in red. Is that available on the the 5 Mark IV as well, or only on the 10?
No, that's the app, and that's available. If you do the update to the app, you're gonna have no problem whatsoever with that. So it's just on the app, it's nothing to do with the camera or anything like that. So
thank you for that. The other question I remember from the Mark II to the Mark III on the 10, because I looked at it, it made the ease of use very good. You could just use the touch screen. But it took away the ability to modify use RAW, it was all JPEG or something with that touch screen with this, like, I don't know if it was HDR or something like that. Can you do RAW, or is it just JPEG?
No, definitely you can do RAW. You can do RAW.
Okay.
Probably you might have another thing on or something, and might not give you the option. Something was grayed out.
Well, I don't know. I never bought that one.
Okay.
I'm happy with the new one I have. Thanks.
No, I'm just asking about the function on that, but maybe you were trying to do a change and you had like a function that was completely grayed out. Maybe it was because you had something else engaged and was not letting you access to that.
Yeah, that could be.
All right, you ready, Mr. Carlos?
Carlos, I got one for Carlos.
Sure.
Silent shooting on PASM modes.
We got them.
All right.
We got them. They're there, silent mode.
Cool. All right, I'm gonna bring up my screen again. If you guys got other questions for Carlos, that's fine. I mean, but if you guys are ready, I'm gonna show you some of the things I've been doing with the art filters, and also talk a little bit about my trip to Cape San Blas. And for those of you who don't know, that's up in the Panhandle in Florida there. And that was a lot of fun, I'll tell you. I almost got stuck in a couple places. It was after the big rain that came through here a couple weeks ago. So I got almost jammed up there. I was going down one of those. It's supposed to be a boat, a road to the boat ramp off of St. Mark's, but I'm going down there and it says there may be flooding. I said, it can't be that bad. I get down there and it's like mud and everywhere. I almost can't. I'm in a Kia Soul. This is not a 4x4 or anything like that. So I'm like, oh no. So I'm trying to quickly kind of back up a little bit as much as I can. Somehow turn the car around without getting stuck in the mud. So that was a lot of fun. All right. So my experience with the art filters is I've been having a lot of fun, especially with the Dramatic Tone 1 and Dramatic Tone 2. You'll see some examples of some of the things I've been doing with that. I've been only using 2 art filters, and like I said, and I shoot in the superfine mode for the system. Now, I don't know if it's been changed. I know it hasn't changed with the update, but they have the superfine mode disabled when you first get the camera, so I had to make sure it's on. And I usually turn it on for all the features on there, so I have options for all that. So once I do that into the set, then I can basically have superfine on, because I want to be able to save my art filters, because the art filter pictures, because I'm shooting RAW and JPEG. So when I'm shooting RAW and JPEG, all I'm doing at that particular point is I'm basically setting it up. Now, some of you might think, well, there's a lot of these picture mode settings, but you can go into the setting under D, I think it was D1 or D4, and you go under there and you can turn off the picture mode settings, the ones you don't want, or turn on all of them if you want. Here I'm just going through the ones that I turned off before, but you see, I just usually leave Dramatic Tone 1 and Tone 2, which is very.
Or just remove them from your whole list. So that's the cool thing about those.
Yeah. And normally what you could do, and I won't show you on the screen capture, is that you can normally go to the art filters from the super control panel. But since it's plugged in, I'm doing a screen capture, it won't let me do that. So, you know, again, you can go to the art filter dial and scroll through the different ones if you want. But if you turn it on only to Dramatic 1 and 2, you will only see that particular one. And see, I got instant film now. I'm so happy. So, you know, what you can also do is bracket these too. So if you want to test out these art filters, it has that art bracketing mode, and you can kind of look at them all at kind of like a little bit of a glance at there. So this is like the same sequence of art filters like 5 times, but it just sped up really fast. Now, I should have mentioned that if anybody's got any strobing effects, if you're having a seizure, I'm sorry. Yeah. So, but it's kind of a cool. Yeah, there you go. It's kind of a cool little thing, and I thought that was kind of unique. But once you get all the filters that you want on there, that's fine. Then you get all to that. Then you can start setting it up. And what I usually do is I go and change the effect on there, because this is what it looks like without it. And then, I mean, with the normal. Then I basically put a frame around it. It's got other artifacts and stuff like that, but usually I put a frame around the whole entire thing. And that's what I've been doing. And a lot of people have been reacting very positively when I post these things on my Instagram and on my Facebook account. Everyone seems to be enjoying these little posts from these things. And the horizontal shot fits actually pretty good in Instagram. The vertical shots, not so much, but the horizontal shots work out pretty well in that thing. So I've been working pretty well with that. So again, without the filter, a little still life here. This was the Dramatic Tone 1. I thought that came out really awesome, just the way it is, from a simple little still life. And that's without doing any post editing and whatnot in there. Dramatic Tone 2. So like I said, I'm a big fan of those particular filters, but I would recommend playing around with that. Now, there's sometimes I thought the filter didn't do what I thought it should, but the good thing is since I'm shooting JPEG and RAW, this is the RAW filter. And then, of course, you can go into post-production and do your own jiggly piggly with it and make some your own modifications. So I get the same filter effect. Now, I know you can do this in Olympus Workspace, but I prefer Photoshop. It works out better for me in the long run because it's connected to with the plugins that I use all the time. So I went on a little photo safari, and I'll have the settings posted up there too for anybody who's interested. So these are all the pictures that I shot when I was going around through Cape Sandblast. Had just different options around there, and just having a ball shooting these pictures. This was a cropped version of the 40 to 150 that I did in camera, and I thought that came out pretty wild. I thought with that, especially with the tonal range and everything else, it just really made it kind of get that little bit extra pop on there. And this was also I didn't do anything else after this picture. This did it again. that I thought was made it what I thought a very dull assortment into a much more attractive, especially with the brass patina on the utensils on there. It made a really cool thing. I was in a antique shop, and the antique shop owner liked the photo when I showed them, and so I sent them a copy of the photo so they could put it on their social feed. And this was also in their antique shop too, so I thought that was kind of cool. I don't know. I forgot how that one got. That was from Arcadia, and we won't count that one. Okay, we're back at Cape San Blas. So, again, I was just playing around. This is at Cape San Blas. Again, if you're not familiar with the area, it's really cool. There's a stand of trees and stuff like that around the beaches and stuff like that. It's much different than, of course, the beaches around here on the West Coast and over on the East Coast. So when you go up the North Panhandle, you got a bunch of cypress and pine trees and oak all along the shore, and you get this really unique effect for a beach picture. It kind of reminds me of some of the scenes I've seen up north when it's up there. Some of the things that I enjoyed with the dramatic tone was the fact that it did such a really good job with the details. I was able to see the cracks and the crevices of a lot of the structures and stuff like that. Black and white, I think it does a phenomenal job. It doesn't work well for everything, but it did a really, really, really great job on a lot of these options. And the thing I like about using these art filters, it makes this so much more fun for me to go out there and shoot with this stuff. It's just, I just love it. It just makes these things extra pop, extra fun. Again, you can go back and post and fix them up a little bit. The only thing I did with this one is the moon was actually a little bit smaller. So I shot the moon separately, and I just basically put it in there. So it looks a little bit bigger. But this is what I was talking about. This is kind of like the beach there at Cape San Blas. And I'm thinking about taking the low light photo group or do a Milky Way excursion up there when Milky Way season comes back into play again. So that looks to be a lot of fun. There's also a boat up there too off of Cape San Blas. It's beach down there. It's about a mile walk down on the beach. I didn't do the mile walk, but there was a lot of fun. But you get to see all these trees and these stumps along the water and stuff. Growing up around Venice, Florida, you don't really see a bunch of that stuff unless it falls on the shore, that type of thing. And you get some, like I said, I got some really nice results with it. And I was very pleased with the effects that I was getting just by playing around with some of these filters. Again, I have the raw images as well too. So I can always go back and I can re-edit them or fix them up however I wish to, like I said on some of the other stuff. I was playing around with like the 7-14, the 40-150, and of course with my 12-40. So again, it's a lot of fun. I did add the sunburst in there. That's the one thing I did do. Dramatic Tone 2 doesn't add sunburst. It does have that little starburst on the filter effects, but didn't do that. I just put the sunburst in that one. It just needed I just looked at it. It had to have a sun in there somewhere. So I was like, okay, that's good. Again, the colors on it just really pops out on there, and I just really, really enjoyed it. So if you get a chance to try out some of those art filters, I would certainly give them a shot if you can. But now I didn't mention it here, but I know in the group in the past is shared some photos and things like that. So anyway, but what I was saying with the meetup group, I've been doing this with the low light group, is that if people want to share pictures at the end of the meeting, talk about some of their work or something that's going on that they would like to share, you can post them on the Bradenton photo group on Meetup. You can load them up there, and then I can use them to screen share and bring them up on the Zoom meetings, and that way you guys can all see them as well too. The idea behind the continuing idea of the Olympus Users Group, of course, is to always be able to bring, if we can, a guest like Carlos into it, also to share and the stuff like this. But as always, this group is really just about hopefully a resource for you guys to take advantage of if you can, and also to share and exchange some ideas. We'll be coming up with other field trips down the road as things kind of straighten out and kind of normalize as far as that goes. So there'll be other things, Carlos will probably be unsequestered soon, I would hope.
Hopefully.
Yeah.
Hopefully. We'll see, man, what happens.
Yeah. I did post the link in there for everyone to see for the Ionic thing. But if you go to JPI's website at www.jpiphoto.com, it's also on there as well too. and you can register there as well.
Okay.
That software is just works behind the scenes technically with other software, so you don't see it working. So it's not an app that you turn on directly. It's just through other softwares. So you can use that, for example, even for your FaceTime camera or any other meeting that you might have. So definitely does a great job.
Okay, thanks so much.
You're
I
welcome.
have a follow-up question on that,
Sure.
Carlos.
Sure.
With respect to the resolution, how does it differ, say, from either an iPad front camera or Mac? I think the new iMacs have a higher resolution front camera. Do you know?
Resolution on.
For using the Olympus as a cam.
Oh yeah. It will be transmitting in full HD. You're basically transmitting at full HD completely.
Yeah.
Okay, thanks. And you can just get that software, I assume, just do.
If you have, for example, an EM5 III, the EM1 Mark II, the 3, the EM1X, definitely this is going to be totally compatible with the software. So just download the software from our website and make sure that when you connect the camera, you're in the right setting on the back of the camera, and that should be it. I mean, just open up Zoom, for example, and just go to the video settings, make sure you select that camera.
Okay, so it's just, if I do a Google search, it'll be like Olympus Cam Beta software, right?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
That's what I did. All right.
You got it running, Dono, as well, or no?
No, I don't have it installed on my Mac. I'm still using the video capture card because I've been using a lot of screen captures and stuff like that. So I just haven't done.
Okay.
But I am using the video capture card with my OMD EM1 Mark II, and of course it's Cabela to the interwebs. Big Sand Bluff. There's Sand Bluff Bird Observatory, but maybe they were thinking about Cape Sandblast. But it's about 6 hours north of here from the store. That's how far it is away from here. So I'm looking to get the EM1 Mark III. I have an EM Mark II. Will it be helpful to keep both, or will it be too difficult in quality and function to be beneficial? No, it will not be difficult at all. I mean, the only reason I got the EM1 Mark II, I got two of it because I got lucky. I was able to pick one up secondhand for myself. So that's why I did it. But as far as functionality and quality, no. Carlos, it's okay to have those two cameras if they want to keep them both, right? There's a lot of commonalities between the two as far as menu features and functions, if I remember right.
Yeah, it's a great backup as well, to keep it that way. Another option, let's say that you want, you don't want to get your camera away, you can always convert it to infrared as well. That's open a lot of new possibilities on capturing cool landscape and interesting subject, more abstract. You can just play with that as well. It's another thing that I tell customers that, they want another camera, but maybe they don't use that often and they have it just as a backup. You just convert your backup as a infrared camera. So it's another cool thing to do. I have one of my EPL2. It's an old camera, but still it's pretty fun to take pictures with that one once in a while and have the different perspective or tonality on that camera. So it's nice. So it could be another option there.
I want to show this real quick. This is something I was playing around because you can also shoot video with the art filters as well too.
Yeah, but the thing with the video, different art filters, depending on the one that you're selecting, they're gonna have a different frame rate from other ones. So,
right.
For example, diorama just gives you like this kind of a miniature world, but everything looks like in high-speed camera. So it's kind of cool. It takes like 10 seconds to film 1 second, but at the end, when you put all the whole story together, it looks amazing.
Yeah, so it's a lot of fun. Let's see if I can. Now, I have been told by a bunch of my friends and family that they love the video. There's other people that said, "Oh, that I don't like the way it looks," you know. But I beg to differ. I love the way it looks. I think I'm going to do more of those videos. I think they're a lot of fun. So yeah, it was cool. It was really when I realized I could do that with the video as well. You know, it's not as nice as doing it in the 4K and all that other stuff, but it was just a nice little thing that you could probably do and add it to part of your repertoire if you want to do that. I certainly enjoyed it. Sharon's asking, what's an infrared red camera? Infrared red camera, basically, most of your cameras only record in visible light. An infrared camera records in the infrared spectrum outside of our visual spectrum. And basically what they have to do is alter the sensor in the system in order to record that light, or at least be able to capture that light and save it. John, thank you very much. I hope you could also make more sessions as well, too. It's not a
Awesome,
problem.
yeah.
Yeah, it'll be great. As I said, we'll be doing Yannick on the 8th, and then about 2 weeks later, we'll be doing another one as well, too.
Another session, yeah.
Yeah, you don't sound too excited, Carlos. Another
Yeah,
session, yeah!
Yeah.
Yeah. So, guys, thank you again. I want to thank everyone. So, if anybody I don't want to cut anybody off. So, if anybody got more questions for Carlos, for me or anybody else, you're more than welcome to ask. But that was pretty much what I wanted to go over with you guys. And as I said, if you guys want to bring some pictures next time, we'll be glad to share them with each other. If you want to share them with each other.
Yeah,
great. I'm glad you guys enjoyed it. Thank you very much. I'm getting some messages in the chat. So
thank you for joining us. Thank you for coming.
No, thank you all. Anybody else have any more questions for Carlos? Anyone for me? All right. Well, listen, I hope to look to see you guys in the store as soon. I hope to see you guys out there shooting, and I hope to see you guys taking lots of pretty pictures.
All right. Take care, guys. Have a good one. Be safe. Good night.
Be safe and be well, everyone. Thank you so much.
Take care, Dono.
Take care, Mr. Carlos.
All right.
I'm ending. I'm going to end it. I'm going to end it. No, don't end it. No, no. Well, thank you, everyone who tuned in and joined from far abroad. I hope you guys enjoyed that session of the Olympus User Group. And I look forward to seeing you at the next session. See you soon, and stay safe and be well.